What's going on? Welcome back to another episode of the Pro Game Podcast hosted by MattyIce.
Coach Rob.
We're back again. We're recording mad episodes right now. You know, this is a football episode that we're going to talk about. This is an exciting one for me because I'm a big Giants fan and they're a big topic.
Jackson Dart, son. That's all I got to say. Jackson Dart.
They are a big topic of discussion right now for that man, Jackson Dart. You know, he just got named to be the starter. I don't even need to introduce this place anymore. You know why you're here. We know why you're here. Let's talk about it. Jackson Dart. Brian Dable and Joe Shea need to save their jobs. They built this team in 2022 when they came in. They got their quarterback when Daniel Jones left. Jackson Dart was their guy. Now they get to put him in. They get to see what he has. They're feeding him to the Flames. The Chargers, the Eagles, the Commanders, the Cowboys, they are facing playoff contending teams. They are the worst team out of any of their matchups. The Giants are the underdog in every single game that they're going to play this season. The Vikings, even against the Saints, I would count them as underdogs because the Giants are the Giants. But it's a breath of fresh air. Jackson Dart, Malik Neighbors, Cam Scatterbo, that's the future of the offense. Abdul Carter, Dexter Lawrence, Kayvon Thibodeau, Brian Burns is the future of the defense. There is a lot to look forward to as a Giants fan. There is a lot of uncertainty to look into as a Giants fan because I've seen many, many heartbreaks in the past 10 to 12 years since they won it all. And I'm very excited because I'm a believer in Jackson Dart, but I think it's a management issue, and I don't think anything's going to change until Dable and Shane are gone. What do you guys think?
I mean, last week on the podcast, I was talking about how I felt as if Jackson Dart should, wait it out a little bit, have his team lose, knowing that he might be an impact or not. Regardless, he should have at least had a few more games looking after a quarterback like Russell Wilson in support of what I said last week. I didn't watch the game last week before I said that statement. Russell Wilson looked absolutely ridiculous last game.
He was just chucking the ball downfield.
Chucking it.
He wasn't even he didn't go through his progression or anything. But also, you got to remember, he is a little older. That O-line isn't really good. The Giants don't have any offensive line. Is Russell Wilson the same Russell Wilson back then? No, he's not as mobile. So having this young quarterback in there who has a little bit of swag to him, and you saw him at Ole Miss performing the way he was, you expect some. As a Giants fan, it's refreshing.
Yeah. I feel he can fit the vibe of a New York marketed team. Whether they play in Jersey or not, I don't care what the technicality is. They are a New York team. They are the New York Giants. I think he fits that role. I think he wants to fit that role, so I think he's going to do everything he can to do so. As for Russell Wilson, I said it last episode. I will say it this episode, and I will say it in every episode going forward. I love Russell Wilson. I think Russell Wilson is a future Hall of Famer. I think he's nothing short of that. I think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, and I think he's nothing short of that. What Russell Wilson can do as the backup can propel Jackson Dart into a position where maybe not this year, but next year he can be ready for any team. I think he has the swagger and the confidence in his ability to perfect it, to roll with the criticism, to roll with the punches, and really make a difference for the Giants. But I still don't think that goes anywhere with Shane and Dable. I think they need to be gone. I know Dart's their guy. I don't see the Giants succeeding with Dart if they're there. Their play calling sucks. Their moves have sucked. Yes, you bring in Brian Burns. And if Jackson Dart pans out, that would be a great move along with Scatterbo. But when you look at other moves that they've made, the 2023 draft, forgettable. Their offensive line, they still can't construct it. Andrew Thomas can't stay healthy. They have a couple of good pieces. Illuminor's looked good. Embo's looked good. They're looking all right. Wan'Dale Robinson's looked good. But they're falling flat where they could be better. And I think that falls on management and coaching. And your players can only get you so far if your management's horrible. And that's why I think they're always going to be held back while these guys run it. Dart getting started 4 weeks into the year is to save their jobs. To basically say, he's going to be our guy. He's going to turn our season around and our jobs are going to get saved. They wouldn't have started him if they started better. They wouldn't have started him if they started 1-2. It's because Russ has looked horrible and the management has looked horrible. Everybody is on the hot seat in the New York Giants organization where they have to start Jackson
But I
Dart.
want you to think about this, Matt. A young kid like Jackson Dart,
Yeah.
where you have now Scatterboo, who's a pretty good power back, right? And how that can open up the offense for him. Jackson Dart, do I consider him a mobile quarterback? Yes.
Yeah.
All right. He's a young kid coming out of college. The biggest thing for these young quarterbacks is avoiding these hits and understanding when to get down when they're about to absorb contact.
Discipline.
So the fact that you have a good power back in your backfield, you have a receiver like Neighbors, where he's playing some good football right now.
Yeah.
That opens up a lot offensively for the
Oh, yeah.
Giants, and I feel that they could hit that turning point in the season. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, and I thought you brought up a good point there with how, as a rookie quarterback, you want to try avoiding hits as much as possible. The thing that scares me is Jackson Dart isn't known as the kind of guy to do that. You see Baker Mayfield, you see Josh Allen, you see Pat Mahomes do these crazy things where they just absolutely run through any linebacker, any safety that tries to tackle them. Jackson Dart wants to be that guy, but if he tries doing that in the NFL and it doesn't go his way, all of a sudden now all the fans are turning their backs on him. All of a sudden now the team is turning their backs on him. Nobody wants to see a selfish quarterback take a run that he didn't need to take and then get
hurt.
smashed.
Because now what's different between him playing in college and him playing in the NFL, he's playing against some grown ass men.
Exactly.
And
You're going to get chased down by Micah
it's
Parsons every couple
very
seasons.
dangerous if you're going out there playing reckless. But again, think about like Scatterboo coming out the backfield and running the ball down your throat. How that could open up play action, how that could open up option plays for these guys. Because I feel they're not going to run the same type of offense that they were running with Russell Wilson.
They openly came out and said that they have a package of plays specifically designed for Jackson Dart's style of play. That's their guy. They're adapting to his style of play, and they're going to run an offense based off of him.
And you saw that slightly. Like, there were plays that he would come in, even if it was just one snap, he would come in.
And it was an option.
And he will run. It's an option where he can do whatever he wants. Like, you can see that behind the scenes, they're doing things with this kid that and they obviously like what they see. That's why they're starting.
But now, the next question I have, you look at Jordan Love, how successful he was in his rookie season. You look at CJ Stroud and all these guys. These college programs are preparing these young quarterbacks for the NFL. And I feel that, again, with the penalties and flags that they throw, it's really catered towards the quarterback. So maybe he doesn't have to worry about getting laid out or all that stuff. Of course, you don't want the guy to get injured. But how do you think he's going to compare to these other young quarterbacks in the league?
Well, when you look at the other amazing rookie seasons that we saw in recent years, you see CJ Stroud, who had Nico Collins. You had Jordan Love, who had a really good Jaden Reed. Like, he wasn't a bad receiver at all.
Absolutely.
You saw that. You saw who else?
We have in Bryce Young's bounce back season with Adam Thielen.
Yep. Like, you have Malik Neighbors. Throw him the damn ball. He says it every interview. He says it anytime he's asked any question.
Yeah.
You've seen it in the first 3 games. When Malik Neighbors has the ball in his hands, he makes plays.
Special things happen.
They need to do.
Special things happen. Looking at a guy like that, like Malik Neighbors, that's your guy. That's your wide receiver one. You don't even build an offense around Jackson Dart. You build it around Malik Neighbors. You specialize plays to get him open to the point where they're going to start double covering him, and then that opens up Wan'Dale Robinson. And then he gets covered. That opens up Scatterboo out of the backfield. When Tyrone Tracy's healthy, that can open up him because he's a good passing down back. Jackson Dart, if everybody's covered, run the ball. But you want to create so many opportunities for this guy to come in from Ole Miss to thrive. You want to put him in the best scenario you can put him in. And I think he's going into a scheme that can work. I want to see how his discipline is tested. I know he gets in his head. I've seen it in college where they were down maybe a touchdown or two, and he needed to score quick. He threw a pick. Play got called back. The next play, threw a pick again. They got the ball back. Threw a pick again. He threw 3 picks in like 5 minutes. Got in his own head, and they lost the game. I need to see him hold composure in the NFL for me to believe in him. I need to see him have that pocket presence to even where he scrambles, you know he's gone. But the one thing Daniel Jones lacked in New York was pocket presence. That man had no idea there was a guy behind him, and he fumbled the ball a
It's
lot in New York.
it's very hard to do that when you don't have an offensive line. Like my biggest thing right now is with Jackson Dart, especially, is Scatterboo has to have touches during the game. Like first half, I'm talking about 15 to 18 touches.
Yeah.
Right, that way
Yeah.
it takes the pressure off of Jackson Dart.
You can't fully
Yeah,
build on him. You
because
need to build
now
on everybody.
when you have a running back, a power back that's gaining 5 yards a carry, 6 yards a carry, the defense now has to stack the box and now open up the secondary for Jackson Dart to do his thing,
Yeah.
especially with Malik Neighbors.
Oh, easily.
So, I look at it as, yes, you scheme around Jackson Dart and you make plays for Malik Neighbors to get open, but when a rookie quarterback has a good running back, they're going to be successful.
That's your check down guy.
And that's your guy that's going to give you that short yardage, right?
Yeah.
Where it's 4th and 1. All right, let me hand it off to Scatterboo and see what he does. This guy has been running through 260-pound linebackers. Like, think about what that does to defense when you have a guy running down your throat, and now you're forced to stack the box.
Yep.
Think about how that's beneficial for Jackson Dart.
They have such different play styles, which is hard to find in today's game, where you have Malik Neighbors, who's a deep threat, Wan'Dale Robinson, who's your slant and drag route guy, who can also be a deep threat. Scatterboo's going to ground and pound the whole way through, and Tyrone Tracy can catch out of the backfield, and he's a speed back. Jackson Dart can stay in the pocket or scramble. They have multiple styles of play where if they can really work on how to work as a team and really build that chemistry, they can be a very dangerous team. Maybe not this year, maybe not even halfway through next year, but I'm thinking 2 years from now, 3 years from now. I want to just say really quick where you see teams, especially in New York, you see these players. New Yorkers, I love being a New Yorker, but I've never seen an area that gives up on players as quickly as New Yorkers do. They don't see anything through.
Yeah.
Soto has a bad April. They're calling for him to be released, saying it's a waste of money. Now, career high in home runs, career high in stolen bases. He's having a career year with the Mets. You look at, the New York Giants. You saw OBJ have, a couple of good years, and then there were fans calling for his head to get traded. And then they're like, well, we want him back because he's still good. There's so much flip flop that I don't want the Giants to listen to the fan base that much when the Giants still suck in the next year because they aren't going to be great. Because I want to believe that Jackson Dart is the one missing piece that's going to bring them all the way. But the reality is, this isn't a win now team. This is a win in 2 years team. This is a win in 3 years team. Because these guys are young.
They have to build around him.
There's chemistry to be built.
Get him one more prime time wide receiver.
Get him a tight end.
Yeah, something.
Get him a George Kittle. Build him a Travis Kelce, where Travis Kelce's not a blocking tight end, but build him a blocking tight end. Build him a guy that can get you an extra second off the line. Give you a guy that can block for a second and then run out on a slant route just to get a quick option out to you.
Yeah.
They need to treat this as day one. You're 0-3, but this is day one of a new era, week one of a new era where everything in the past, build on now. That's what I got to say.
I think for Giants fans, you don't look out for Jackson Dart to start winning every game possible.
Yeah.
You're not going to see a playoff run from the Giants this year at all. I think as long as he's making plays, as long as he's scoring touchdowns, as long as he's keeping games close, that is considered a win in every book for the Giants. Like you said earlier, you brought up their schedule. There's hardly any team that the Giants play for the rest of the season that you don't see as a playoff team. No other team has a schedule like that.
Yeah.
So having that hard of a schedule with this young of a team, I think can benefit them in the future because they're not going to be strangers to any competition after this. They're going to experience it. They're going to experience a blowout. That's fine. But as long as they bounce back from that, that's considered success, at least for this year.
But what I want to go into now is while we look at Jackson Dart, they face the Chargers this weekend. I want to go into some picks about what we can see.
They're not beating
for
the Chargers, Matt.
maybe
They're
not,
beating the Chargers.
maybe not. But I want to look at some picks across the league where we can really look at some of these matchups that will be important to look upon, whether you're a Giants fan or just a football fan in general or a fan of a specific team, because there are some good matchups this week, and I really want to dive into that. So let's take a look. All right. So let's hit some picks. I know there's a big game that Rob wants to talk about specifically. He's a big rider for this team right now for this season, and that is the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they are facing the Vikings. So who you got?
I mean, the Steelers, man. I think that coming off of a very good win against the Patriots last week,
Gritty win.
It's very satisfying to see that this team with an older Aaron Rodgers go out there and perform the way they're performing. Especially the secondary looks very strong.
Mm-hmm.
The defensive line needs some work. You know, they're having an issue stopping the run a little bit, but the secondary has been pretty locked down when you're talking about stopping deep passes and big pass plays and stuff.
Yeah.
And offensively, you know, you have discount double check, dog. Like he's one of those. I don't care what injury he has, but his ability to throw the football still is ridiculous. And I think that going into this weekend, I have the Steelers for that game.
I'm on the complete opposite of you.
Really?
I think the Steelers didn't win last week. I think the Patriots beat themselves. Antonio Gibson and Ramondre Stevenson combined for 3 fumbles lost in the red zone. 1 on the 1 yard line that was going into the end zone, and then 2 within the 20-yard line. I feel like they lost by a touchdown, but they will put 3 touchdowns on the board that didn't go. That they had 3 potential touchdowns. I think the Steelers are not a legit team. They beat up on the Jets, which are 0-3. They beat up on the Patriots, which should have won that game minus those 3 turnovers, and Drake May had a pick or 2. So the Patriots played very sloppy and still lost by a touchdown.
Is it sloppy offense by the Patriots or good defense by the Steelers?
Ramondre Stevenson is the most fumbled running back in the league in the last 3 years. Antonio Gibson is washed. And Drake May is a year 2 guy that's still learning the offense with Stephon Diggs.
What do you think, Chris?
So I think the Vikings will win. They're banged up. Sorry to cut you off, but I'm a big Vikings guy. My girlfriend is a diehard Vikings fan, and I will forever support them. They are a banged-up team, and they are still putting belt to ass. I don't care if Jake Browning is the quarterback of Cincinnati or Joe Burrow. They won 48-10. Their defensive player, Isaiah Rodgers, had 2 picks, 2 fumble recoveries, and 3 of them were returned for touchdowns. 1 of them was 87 yards returned for a touchdown. That defense alone won them the game, and Carson Wentz and Jordan Mason still looked great. I got the Vikings 10 times out of 10 on this one. Vic, I love you.
I'm more in the middle with this one. I think I saw, as much as you said the Patriots beat themselves last week, I think the Steelers being able to take advantage of them making sloppy mistakes is more of a positive than it is a negative. Although with the Vikings, I thought that I saw exactly what I needed to see out of the Vikings for them to still even be considered a playoff team.
Yeah.
I saw the defense prevail when they needed to the most because their QB1 is out. And I saw Jordan Mason look good. I saw, what's their backup's name for the Vikings?
Carson Wentz.
I think he looked good.
Did I say Carson Wentz or did I butcher it?
No.
All right, cool.
I think Carson Wentz looked somewhat decent as a backup quarterback. So I think the Vikings come out with this one. I just think it's closer than people may see.
Before we move on, I want to just ask you real quick: Do you credit the Steelers? They won 21-14, and the Vikings the Patriots had 4 turnovers in that game, and you scored 3 touchdowns. And I don't know if any of them were off of the turnovers. They really played solid enough defense to create turnovers, and their offense that you're crediting Mr. Discount Double Check for, their offense looked like garbage again. Their offense looked like garbage against Seattle. Seattle's defense, of course, but Kyler Murray just put up 20 points on him after
Yeah.
looking like garbage in the first half.
Yeah.
Are the Steelers just winning games for the sake of it, or are they actually a good team that strained them together because they're good? I think they're getting lucky. I think they are lucky wins because of sloppy play in front of them.
Yeah. I mean, you can say it. As much as their wins hasn't been as clean as a team like the Buccaneers or a team like the Bills, I think if you're winning games, you're winning games. At the end of
Yeah.
the day, when you make the playoffs, it doesn't matter how you won the game, it's how many wins you have and did you win enough to make it.
I think Mike Tomlin tells himself that every night because they make it at 9-8 every year. He's like, well, I'm here. I made the playoffs.
Listen, we'll just pick. I know there's other good ones that you have going on there.
Yeah.
I got Steelers this weekend. Matt, you got the Vikings.
Vikes.
I'm gonna go Vikings.
All right. So
So
that'll
now-
wrap up that game.
The next 3 games are all blockbusters where if it was my choice, I'd put the 3 of them on Sunday and Monday night instead of the Broncos, Bengals, and Dolphins, Jets doubleheader
Yeah.
on Monday.
That's
I'd put these
ridiculous.
3 games. The first one's the Rams and the Colts. Now, the Rams defense is stellar this year. And aside from the comeback that the Eagles had,
Yeah.
the Rams defense has looked very nice. The Rams offense has clicked very well. Matt Stafford looks great. Kyron Williams looks great. How do the Colts? How do they do? The Broncos, they tore apart the Broncos defense and won by 1 point, but they put up 30 points on them. They put up 41 points last week. Put up 40 points the week before that. They're averaging 35 points a game. Does that stop at the Rams defense? Are they a legit team? I think the Colts start 4-0. I think Daniel Jones can adapt to it. I love Daniel Jones. I say it every episode, like I love Russell Wilson. I love Daniel Jones. I genuinely think that team can be legit. Jonathan Taylor is not being talked about as much as Daniel Jones is because Jonathan Taylor is the mainstay there. Jonathan Taylor is a monster. I think he's going to run all over him, and if he doesn't run all over him, he's going to catch out of the backfield. You can't stop both of them. You're stopping one of his many methods to scoring and gaining yardage. And I think the Colts will win. I think it'll be close, but I think the Colts will win.
I disagree because here's my thing. I don't completely disagree because the way I look at it is the Rams, I think they're going to go out there and perform very well and possibly win that game.
Yeah.
This is a proving game for Daniel Jones. This is
yeah.
a game where Daniel Jones has to prove himself.
Yep.
Like, all right, he's been playing very well the first couple games of the season. That's great.
But
now,
the Titans and the Dolphins.
But now you're going against one of the top defenses in the NFL, as well as a quarterback that's experienced, and he's an established veteran. Like,
he's the guy.
Is Daniel Jones going to go out there and be aggressive, or is he going to play passive because of what everybody's saying in the media and what everybody is saying about the Rams defense?
Yeah.
That's my thing. So I got the Rams, but the Colts are a sleeper team this year.
Oh,
I think
sure.
even at 3-0, I think they're a sleeper because I think they're still getting counted out for being a fluke.
I just think this game is for sure the game that's going to prove whether they're legit or not. The Colts, as much as I love their style of play recently, I just think the Rams, of course, like you said earlier, the Rams defense is just looking phenomenal. And you have who I think right now, and most people should, is the best receiver in the league. Justin Jefferson hasn't performed as much as he has. Neither has Jamar Chase. Puka Nacua is a demon, absolute demon. He's been torching defenses. I don't think he's showing any signs of slowing down. That offense itself, like Kyron Williams, is a touchdown merchant. Devontae Adams, that veteran receiver that still looks like he can make plays and still looks good. I'm taking the Rams, but if the Colts win here, I wouldn't be upset, and I honestly could see them as a potential threat.
All right, so Matt, I
got the Colts. I don't think it's a win or bust for them. I think even if they lose, it depends on how they lose. I think the Colts will win, but if they lose and it's a close game, I still think they're legit.
I feel the biggest thing, though, is like, are we looking at the Colts being a legit team, or are we looking at Daniel Jones actually playing well against a great defense.
I think it's
But
more of a Daniel Jones test,
That's
honestly.
that's what
because,
I'm feeling.
Indy's defense is good, but the Rams' offense is great.
Yeah.
And I think Tyler Warren, Michael Pittman, Alec Pierce, Jonathan Taylor, even Tyler Warren as a rookie, but those guys they're established. You know what you're getting out of those guys. Daniel Jones, 2 of those games being against the Dolphins and the Titans, you don't know what to expect because you saw him in New York. He always had those flashes of being something, but you never know. I still take Colts.
Rams.
Yeah.
All right. Now, my big game of the week is the Bucks versus the Eagles. Now, my little cousin is the biggest Buccaneers fan I've ever met and the only Buccaneers fan I've ever met. So I'd like to just shout out my boy C Fries, who will be on the podcast soon. So stay tuned for that if you're watching this. Bucks Eagles. Simple. I got Bucks.
Let me interrupt you right here.
Whew.
This is my favorite part of the podcast right here.
Uh-oh.
This is my favorite game of the week. You might hear me say some crazy things on this podcast. You might think this will be the craziest. In 2025, I'd rather have Baker Mayfield as my quarterback than Lamar Jackson. His ability to win games
I like
at
it.
this
I
level
do like
is
it.
absurd. Lamar Jackson just lost to the Lions, who were thought to be frauds this season, and has lost to Josh Allen. Mind you, has no success in the playoffs. Who has success in the playoffs? Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield is legit. He is that dude. Jalen Hurts, don't like that man. Don't like any man on the Eagles. I think the Buccaneers will beat the Eagles, and I don't even think it's going to be close.
I think Emeka Egbuka is legit. I think he can be their wide receiver 1. Mike Evans is the guy, of course, but Mike Evans is the veteran. Emeka Egbuka could be their future. Bucky Irving is their future. Baker Mayfield's the guy that can build that. I think them facing the Lions and losing by a touchdown 2 seasons ago, or them getting to the playoffs last year and just getting bounced by a last-second field goal, it's one of those things where the Bucks are just going to get that push over where they can actually get there, and I think this could be a year for them. I think Baker Mayfield is 100% better than Lamar Jackson. I think people don't credit Baker Mayfield enough. I think Baker Mayfield's heart, his grit as a quarterback is not common. I feel like he lacks the flashiness, but he has the grit to him, which will fire up his team to win them games. Where, you see, 3 wins, all of them were buzzer beaters, whether it was a missed kick for the other team or a game-winning kick for them. They won the game. And Baker Mayfield got them down there. Now, Baker Mayfield's the guy, and I got the Bucks.
Here's my biggest thing. The Eagles haven't really impressed me so far this season.
No, they haven't. They don't give you a reason to be impressed.
And it's like, you look at Jalen Hurts and you look at Saquon Barkley and all these guys that they have on their offense. Like, it's a high-powered offense, but at the same time, like, Baker Mayfield is going out there and just doing the nitty-gritty. It's like the little things, man. You see him getting in these guys' face and talking some junk. Like, not a lot of quarterbacks do that.
No.
Not a lot of quarterbacks do that.
And I love that.
And he has heart, right? Like, he's one of those guys that, like, when it's game time, it's game time.
Yep.
Like, late in the fourth quarter, he's going to drive down that field, try to get something started, try to make it happen.
And he'll get in your head.
And do his thing. Jalen Hurts, on the other hand, I feel like he's been playing a little bit more conservative, playing a lot more passive, and I don't think this is the game you could do that in.
Not in the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers are a legit threat.
I do have the Buccaneers this weekend, but again, the Eagles, they're a championship team.
And they're finding ways to win.
Yeah, and you can't take that away from them. Whether it's defensively, offensively, special teams.
Yeah.
Like, they know how to win games, and they have a good culture and a good coaching staff over there. Like, I can't see them getting blown out, but at the same time, I can see them losing because of how passive they have been playing the first couple games.
And don't get me wrong, like, the Eagles roster is stacked. Like, they have what it takes to make it to the Super Bowl every year.
Consistently.
It's just, when it comes to the Buccaneers, you have guys who aren't even fully healthy yet, and they're still managing to win games. You have Baker Mayfield, who hasn't even had his full receiving room fully healthy in how long?
Godwin's out.
Chris
Igbuka's
Godwin's out.
battling injury too.
Mike Evans is now out. Igbuka, he's slightly hurt. He's still playing, but he's now looked to as the main target. I don't know how they're going to utilize him in this game.
Sterling Shepard's wide receiver 2 on the Bucs now
Absolutely.
because of how hurt they are. Now, Sterling Shepard, Giants legend, like that's our boy.
Yep.
But like Sterling Shepard in 2025 as a wide receiver 2, like that man was a wide receiver 4 3 weeks ago. And now he's wide receiver 2 because of how banged up that team is.
Yeah.
But your tight ends, Cade Otton, you have Bucky Irving and Rachaad White. You have the pieces to go far.
Exactly.
So fucking do it.
Yeah. So we're going Bucks on this one?
Bucks. Now the last game is a very important game in my household because my dad is a diehard, live by the Chiefs, die by the Chiefs. We got the Chiefs and the Ravens game. Now, I have...
This game pisses me off.
Oh, yeah, completely.
Because I really
Yeah.
I have no words for Lamar. Seriously.
Yeah.
Because he's been proving me right with how terrible he has been.
He's not clutch.
And then on top of that, you have a running back that is supposed to be one of the best running backs in the league. And he's always fumbling in the fourth quarter.
3 straight. He has 10 fumbles in the fourth quarter in his career. And I think he's like 2 and 3 fumbles in the first 3 quarters other than that.
Yeah.
Like he's a fourth quarter fumbler.
But here's the thing. They're another team that they could be up by a lot, and all of a sudden they're playing conservative. All of a sudden they're sitting there. They're like, all right,
we're 40 to 25 and you lose the game.
Yeah, but
40 to 25.
I don't understand why that happens. Like,
because Derrick Henry fumbled the ball.
I don't get it at all.
With Lamar, he's so respected as a QB, and he has all this talent, and we've seen it in the past. We've seen him make space in the pocket. We've seen him escape the pocket in times when needed. In the game last week with Lions, he got sacked, I think, over 7 times.
He got sacked 8 times.
I don't think we've seen that ever.
To Lamar ever.
He's the type of QB where it's like if he doesn't find a man downfield, he's going to take it because he knows what he's capable
Now,
of.
I'm going to hit you.
This is what happened.
I got to hit you with this. Real quick. Now, it's a crazy thing I'm going to say. You said Baker and Lamar, and I'm going to do you one better. With Lamar Jackson's success, you see the talent, and you know what he's capable of. We've seen Daniel Jones' talent. We think we know what he's capable of. What separates them?
Don't say no stupid shit.
No. And hear me out, because this is why I'm saying it. Both run out of the backfield. Lamar, of course, runs more, but both have mobility. Daniel Jones has had success in the playoffs. He's the first quarterback in NFL history to pass for 250 yards.
Daniel Jones?
Daniel Jones is the first quarterback in playoff history to have 250 passing yards, over 70 rushing yards, a passing touchdown, and a rushing touchdown. He is a dual threat quarterback and has had success in the playoffs to knock off the 13-3 Vikings when they played. Lamar Jackson can't get past the Chiefs, can't get past the Bills, can't get past the Bengals. Lamar Jackson,
listen to the 3 teams you just fucking named.
But hear it.
Chiefs, Bills, Bengals. What quarterbacks do they have?
Okay, and then you look
at that, Patrick Mahomes,
but then you can't.
You got Josh Allen,
but then you can't praise Lamar if he can't get over the big hump.
Oh my
because
God,
then he's not that guy.
Oh my God,
you're
bro!
You're forgetting about how often Daniel Jones turned the ball over. Not even now, but as a Giant, when you were talking about Daniel Jones didn't look good in a Giants uniform. You can't.
Okay, I knew it was over once he wore that ugly ass uniform.
But then you look at what Daniel Jones was dealing with. Lamar Jackson has had John Harbaugh his entire career. He had Derrick Henry for the past 2 years. He's had Zay Flowers. He has had a star-studded offense. He's had Mark Andrews his whole career. And the Ravens' defense has been top-notch up until this year. They've been the number 1. Roquan Smith. They have studs. Daniel Jones, when you look at the difference, ran 7 different offensive schemes in the 8 years he was on the Giants. 7 years he was on the Giants. He had Jason Garrett, Brian Dable. He had, maybe Pat Shurmur was still in the Daniel Jones era.
Yeah.
He had nobody. The general manager changed 3 different times since he was quarterback. His running back was Saquon, and aside from Saquon, he had he had a year of Tyrone Tracy. Aside from Neighbors last year, his wide receivers were Sterling Shepard and Darius Slayton. Because Wandale wasn't good until this year. Hang on. Evan Ingram's been gone from the team, and when he was on the Giants, he couldn't catch the ball. He had one successful year of Daniel Bellinger 3 years ago, and aside from Kayvon Thibodeau and Dexter Lawrence, and you had Snacks Harrison 4 or 5 years ago, but before that, your defense was garbage too. They were winning 2 games a year, but you didn't have anything on the offensive side, the defensive side, or in the management to help that guy. And he had so many different schemes to adapt to. He was screwed from the start when they drafted him, with how they drafted him. He was screwed from the start with the team that was built around him. Lamar was drafted the last pick of the first round. He was drafted into a Hall of Fame coach. He had Wink Martindale on the defense, running the defense. He's had a fantastic coaching staff that doesn't get fired because they're great. They make the playoffs every year. You have Derrick Henry. You had Gus Edwards. You have those guys. You had J.K. Dobbins when healthy, beast. You had Zay Flowers. You have those guys. Hollywood Brown was on that team. You had menaces with Lamar Jackson to where if you fail in that scheme, you're the problem. But now, Daniel Jones wouldn't have failed in that scheme.
All right, so were they menaces because they were good, or were they menaces because Lamar Jackson
you can't tell me that Hollywood Brown was only good because of Lamar. You can't tell me that Zay Flowers only succeeds on the Ravens with Lamar.
You can't tell me that. We're saying. What I'm saying.
You can't tell me Mark Andrews only succeeds with Lamar.
At the talent. Talent-wise, Lamar, 10 out of 10.
Look at the stats.
Bro, look at the teams.
Oh, my God.
Look at the teams.
Was last year's playoff loss Lamar Jackson's fault?
Lamar Jackson,
answer the question. Was it Lamar Jackson's fault?
It was the whole team.
Derrick Henry fumbled.
No, Mark Andrews dropped
the No. I'm asking you. Is it Lamar's fault that they lost in the playoffs last year?
Yes.
All right, this is the point.
Lamar wouldn't have to put them in that position.
This is ridiculous.
I don't think I've ever thought that I would be having a conversation
about Daniel Jones and Lamar Jackson, bro.
Look at it. Look at the situations they were. Look at the situations they were put in. Look at the situations they were put in, and look at the rate of success that they've had. Lamar Jackson, no playoff success, maybe a couple of wins. Daniel Jones made the playoffs once and knocked off the division-leading Minnesota Vikings. They got stomped by the Eagles, but the Giants always get stomped by the Eagles. The Giants have had nothing around Daniel Jones and 7 different schemes for him to learn in. Lamar has had one scheme and the best offense in all of football next to him.
Now, let me ask you this. Sorry, because we keep on cutting you off with this segment.
No, go ahead, because this is really getting me tight right now.
Lamar Jackson is still in his prime. We haven't seen his entire prime play out yet. He still has time to win a ring. With the way that you were saying how Daniel Jones has playoff success over Lamar Jackson, he's won a couple of games just like Lamar has.
So then,
not only that,
but then what else has Baker Mayfield done then? If you're going to talk about Baker having playoff success.
When Lamar fails in the playoffs, a guy like Drew Brees did the same exact thing. Drew Brees won 1 Super Bowl in his prime. 1 Super Bowl. What happened the rest of the years?
Dog, look at the teams he had.
And then look at the teams that he went against. It's the same case with Lamar, yet we see Drew Brees as this top 10 quarterback.
Drew Brees
has
top 3 passing yards all time.
And you think Daniel Jones has more passing yards than Lamar Jackson?
I did not say that.
Like, what?
Bro, Lamar has to go through Patrick Mahomes.
Dog.
Josh Allen.
Dog.
Joe Burrow.
Dog. Man. Joe Burrow does not have an offensive line.
All right, perfect example. It's like Joe Flacco has to get through Tom Brady.
And he did.
And Ben Roethlisberger.
And he did.
Yes, but how many times?
He won the Super Bowl.
How many times did he do it, Matt? How many times?
He got through them multiple times.
He whooped his ass every year.
He got through them multiple times.
Bro.
Did he not? Bro. Did he not beat Brady in Foxborough?
Okay, now are we going to look at that era and say,
all right, so once Lamar,
Tom Brady?
No, put it like this. Once Lamar beats Patrick Mahomes at Arrowhead Stadium, we're coming back to this conversation.
He never will.
We're coming back
He
to this
never will.
conversation.
He never will.
We're coming back to this conversation. As far as I know, the Chiefs looks like hot garbage.
Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes.
That's all I'm going to say.
Patrick Mahomes eliminated the Baltimore Ravens with his leading receiver as Marquez Valdez-Scantling and McCole Hardman. Those were his wide receivers 1 and 2. And it was a 3rd and 9 play with 2 minutes left in the fourth. And to ice the game, he threw a 30-yard fade to Marquez Valdez-Scantling, who was known to have 12 drops in the fourth quarters of the regular season games leading up to it. And he caught the ball, and Mahomes won with MVS and McCole Hardman. And they wound up winning the Super Bowl that year. So you can't tell me Lamar is getting past Patrick Mahomes and like Tyreek Hill, because Tyreek hasn't been on the team in 4 years, and Mahomes beat Lamar in Baltimore with less talent.
All I'm going to say, a blind squirrel finds a nut once in a while, brother. That's all. I'm happy for Patrick Mahomes. He is one of the greatest. He is one of the greatest. But for you to say and compare Daniel Jones to Lamar Jackson is absolute blasphemy, bro.
Now let me ask you this.
That's nuts. I want to throw my soda somewhere,
If you
bro.
mean to tell me Lamar's a better deep passing quarterback than Daniel Jones, and you're out of your mind if you say yes. Absolutely. You're out of your mind. You are so far out of your mind that you're going to take your mind and throw it to Beijing. That's how out of your mind you are. Okay,
This is
all
a
right, now let me ask you a
ridiculous
question.
take.
If the Ravens were in the NFC and made it to the Super Bowl every year, but still lost to Pat Mahomes in the Super Bowl every year, is that considered playoff success for Lamar?
It has to be.
Exactly. But
He has to get
doesn't
through.
have the opportunity to do that because he has to face them in the divisional round or the AFC Championship round.
Look
He
at
can't have
that
playoff success
AFC.
if he has to face them in
You can't
those
have that
rounds.
playoff success with Derrick Henry, who's a better running back than Isaiah Pacheco, Mark Andrews, who is
We're-
on a level on Travis Cook. Okay, and you look at Josh Allen, who's number one receiver? His number one receiver is Khalil Shakir.
You don't call me, but that's another conversation.
Lamar Jackson is
Bro,
better talent surrounding him and can't get
There
past him.
is no way
Oh my God.
you are, bro. Lamar Jackson's talent is a different conversation than the Ravens' success. You are talking about the Ravens' success. This game is not built off of one person.
Because I brought up Lamar Jackson, and you guys brought up how he can't get past Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, because he has to face them. And I'm like, well, if you look at
Oh
it,
my
he
God.
should be able to because of the people that are surrounding him.
No,
You put Daniel Jones on the Ravens, and he does better, if not the same.
The Chiefs
That's crazy.
have had a better defense than the Ravens consistently for recent years, I think. And
no, I think the Ravens did have a
they had
really
they
good
have-
defense
they have-
last year.
They have consistently good defenses, but the Chiefs just still managed to have a more dominant defense when it comes to winning playoff games. You don't see the Ravens defense prevailing at all. That's why they're getting into these shootouts. If Lamar has the same, if you're saying that Lamar doesn't have the best supporting system,
he
no,
does.
you're saying that he
He
does.
does.
Pat Mahomes has the defense to prevent an offense like the Ravens, like the Bills, and like the Bengals to not score. Lamar hasn't had that. That's why the Bills came back from the 40-25 game, because the defense can't stop those QBs.
That's this year.
Yes.
What
Even
about,
in past
what
years,
about the
though.
6 years that Lamar's been in the league prior to this year, when they had the number one defense?
I don't think they
Yeah,
ever
Patrick
really
Mahomes.
did.
Patrick Mahomes, bro.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes is nice.
That's what you look at.
He's him.
When you have
Yes, he is.
two great defenses.
That's why the Chiefs are going to win.
That-
They're going to win on Sunday.
When you have two great defenses, you look to see which quarterback is going to get their team the win. Pat Mahomes is a better quarterback than Lamar Jackson. The defense is what matters in these situations, because if a defense can't stop that QB, then your QB has no chance to win the game. You need a defense that's going to get a stop on a wonderful QB like Pat Mahomes.
So here's my thing. I don't disagree with the Chiefs winning. I think the Chiefs are going to win. All right.
Exactly.
Does that not show a good display of Ravens defense?
The Ravens scored 10 points. Does that not show an amazing display from the Chiefs defense?
Oh, it does.
Exactly.
All right, we're not going to talk about the past. We're talking about now, right?
But even then.
So here's my thing. I have the Chiefs. I have the Chiefs, right? But depending on which team wins, I think this is going to be a turning point in their season.
Absolutely.
And that's
Yeah.
solid right there to say.
And I agree.
The Chiefs at home, the Chiefs at Arrowhead against the Ravens, no matter their records, the Chiefs fans will change the atmosphere in that
They
stadium.
will.
No, they will.
They
will.
can control the game based on that.
I got the Chiefs.
I also have the Chiefs.
Chiefs.
I definitely have the Chiefs.
But that whole Daniel Jones, Lamar Jackson thing, I think it's.
Let us know in the comments, because this is going to be on the forefront of the damn video. Let us know in the comments. You listen to what we're yelling about, and you look it up on your own research, and you come back to the comments and you let us know. And
You're just delusional. It's 12:15 in the morning, and you're talking about Daniel Jones and Lamar Jackson, bro. That's ridiculous. That's nuts. That's nuts.
Daniel Jones is 3-0 in Indy.
No, bro. That's crazy. That's absolutely buffoonery right there.
What an episode. What an episode.
All right.
That might wrap it up.
We're going to wrap it up on that one, man. I got a headache from y'all. Because Matt over here is driving everybody crazy today with his takes.
This is my video for today, boys. Listen, it's been real. We have more episodes coming out, like I say at the end of every single episode. This is the Pro Game Podcast. We have football. We have baseball. We're bringing hockey into it soon. Basketball starts up. We might have to get that in there.
Absolutely. But tune into our episodes that we're dropping this week, and we're going to be dropping 3. One for baseball, one with my Junior Duck boys talking about their experience with us and the program that we run. And then, of course, this amazing football episode
You're watching right now.
that, it's going to have people gasping and wondering why Matt said Daniel Jones and Lamar Jackson in the same sentence.
So it's been real. Like I said, stay tuned. Lock in with us. Pro Game Podcast. That's by MattyIce.
Coach Rob.
Christian.
We're out.
Peace.
Peace.